Hey everyone, it's Dave from BC Bushcraft here again today. I just wanted to do a very simple and quick video showcasing two of probably some of my favorite Mora knives, and I just wanted to compare the two of them just in case any of you guys are out there shopping and looking around and you haven't had an experience with either one of these and you want to find a budget knife that's good. And these two are pretty much the same price, around $20. I'm basically just making this video to help people choose the right Mora for them and what I think is the right Mora in different situations. Right here we have the Mora Companion. This is not the Mora Heavy Duty Companion, so it's 2mm thick. It's actually the same thickness as the Mora Classic 1, which we're comparing. It has this rubberized handle with a rat tail tang in here. It's kind of the same configuration as this one, except with wood. The knife blade itself is just under 4 inches, around, I don't know, I think it's 3.9 technically. You can see I have a patina on this, and I've heavily used this knife. But overall, it's a very ergonomic knife. The grip is super comfortable. You're not going to slip when this thing is wet. But overall, this is a very good knife for bushcraft. It's a very good carving knife as well. It bites into wood really nicely because it's very thin. It's got a very thin profile. And it's just a nice utilitarian style bushcraft blade. You know, this makes a really good companion for an axe. You know, you don't need a really bulky knife if you're using an axe a lot, and this thing fits that bill perfectly. The blade is around the same size, but I actually measured them out, and the Mora Companion is ever so slightly longer by about 1/16 of an inch. It's also, Mora Companion is slightly wider this way than the Classic 1. The Classic 1 has the hidden tang as well. It's kind of like the Puko knife, traditional knife, I guess, from Sweden. You know, both these knives are carbon steel, high carbon steel. You can get stainless steel versions. I don't know if you can of this one, but I know you can of the Mora Companion. If that floats your boat, you don't want to maintain carbon steel, you can do that. So this is more of a traditional feel to the knife. It's got the wood handle. I did this myself. This handle comes red, and I made it kind of look like it has some use on it, and that's just a personal touch, just like how I put a patina on my Mora Companion. Okay, so the knife blades themselves are very similar. They're a little bit oiled up right now. That's why they got that sheen to it. But there's pretty much no difference in the knives themselves as far as the blade goes. You hardly notice a difference. But the first, obviously, big difference, which is the only difference is the handles. So side-by-side handles. The Mora Companion is quite a bit longer. It also has that rubberized feel to the grip, which gives it a very stable feel in your hand. It also has this bit of a choil that comes down here for your finger to go in, and your hand does not feel like it's going to slide onto the blade. The Mora Classic 1, however, has the broomstick style handle. It's very comfortable, very smooth. It's small though. I have, I don't know, smallish hands. Like, I don't have massive hands, so my hand fits on there quite well. But it doesn't nearly have the amount of real estate as the Mora Companion. I have a lot more knife to play with, and depending on how big your hand is, you know, you might actually have to get the Mora Companion. So the one drawback to this design is that, you know, the handle is a little bit small, but it's not really the purpose for the knife, in my opinion. You know, if you're doing the stabbing motion, you have the chance of slipping down, but only if you're not careful. I just put my thumb on top of there and you're fine. This knife is a dedicated carving knife. I haven't actually taken it out on a solo wild camp or overnight stay, and I try to keep it really sharp and clean, and it's such a comfortable carving knife. I like that it has a classic look. It kind of makes it a little bit more traditional, and it looks like a prettier knife than the Mora Companion. Mora Companion has that modern plastic look that's not aesthetically as pleasing, but it's not an ugly knife either. And the main reason why I use that for carving is just because of the handle. There's no hot spots. It's super comfortable. You can carve with this for hours. You're not going to get tired. This knife is lighter. It feels like you have more finesse with this knife. And it's just a little bit better of a carver, just because of the handle design, than the Mora Companion. The Mora Companion is a close second, and these two are my favorite carving knives, so it's hard to put them up against each other because they're so similar. The Mora Companion is a great woodsman knife. You get this thing wet. If you have the stainless steel version, it's even better in wet weather. But this thing stays grippy when it's wet. This is a knife that you can definitely beat on, and I put this thing through the ringer for sure. And it's held up to a lot of tasks. It's a little bit light for a knife that I would always carry around in the woods, but it makes a really good companion beside an axe. I have no problem bringing this knife out on any adventure, really. Now onto the sheaths. The Mora Companion sheath is like 10 times better than the Mora Classic 1. The Mora Classic 1 sheath is just not nearly as good a quality as the Mora Companion. The plastic itself, they're very similar. There isn't much difference in the actual plastic itself. But the big fallback to this one is the belt loop is really not good. I don't like this belt loop. I don't like how the knife really sits on a belt. Whereas the Mora Companion is awesome. You can put this on your belt. You can clip it onto a million different things. You can actually slide this into a button and have it hook onto a button here on your shirt or something like that, or on your pants or anything like that. I often carry my Mora Companion slipped on to my pocket, so it's actually hanging down a lot lower than it would if it was up on my belt up here. So I really like that about the Mora Companion sheath. So with that being said, I'll just summarize what I think are the main differences between these knives, and why or why not you should get either one of these. The handle for the Mora Classic. Insanely comfortable, a little bit small. It doesn't have a guard, and it's not going to be the best in wet weather because it's wood. A little bit of a drawback, not a big one. And it's not going to be the best knife for field use. The sheath also reflects that. The sheath is very basic, and I think it does not compare to the Mora Companion at all. Mora Companion, really comfortable feel, a lot better in all weather conditions. It's just got a better design for the woods than the Classic 1. So if you're going to get a Mora and you're between these two knives, if you're looking for a carver, this is a beautiful carving knife. If you're going to look for a bushcraft knife though, and you're looking for something that's going to be in the woods day in, day out, hands down, you've got to get the Mora Companion. It's just the better knife for the woods. Doesn't mean you can't do bushcraft with this one either. If you're just looking for aesthetics, get the Classic. If you don't care about aesthetics, get the Mora Companion. That's just my 2 cents on these two knives. I think they're both amazing knives for around $20 Canadian. You can't go wrong with either one of these. The minor differences that I did point out, I just wanted to bring forth to people that maybe have never held a Mora. But the most owned knife that I have is Mora. I have more Moras than any other knife. Like, these knives are just awesome to own. So own as many of them as you can. And if you want, just get both of them because they're sweet. So in the end, I hope you like this video. This is Dave from BC Bushcraft. Please like, please subscribe. I have lots of videos on bushcraft and doing solo overnights and all that fun stuff. So until the next one, this is Dave.